I'm doing it again. I didn't learn from last week's 23 miles. I'm doing another Wales Coast Path walk. But just take a look at these views. Well, hello and welcome from a slightly overcast and dull South Wales. Well, last week I took you on a little walk from here in Porthcawl along the South Wales Coast Path for 23 miles to Swansea Marina. And today I've decided to do another one, another walk along the Wales Coast Path. But this time I'm heading east towards the Vale of Glamorgan. And unlike last week, I haven't got a destination. I'm going to keep going until I can't go any further. Just to give you some idea of distances, according to the Wales Coast Path map, from here to Ogmore by Sea, it's 8 miles. It's 18 miles to Llantwit Major, 26 miles to Roose Point, and it's 46 miles to Cardiff Bay. I don't think I'll be doing that. Those distances are much further than the direct routes because they go up rivers, around bays and things like that. And judging by the way I feel at the moment, I'll be happy just to do a couple of miles. Well, join me on this epic adventure and let's see how far we can get. At the moment, I'm just setting off. Unlike last week, one of the hottest days of the year, 30 something, it's about 17, overcast and a bit damp. So currently, I'm just leaving Porthcawl. I'm down as far as Trecco Bay caravan site. Let's go. Well, I left the house just gone 6:45 this morning. The only people out and about are dog walkers and mad people like me. So, next stop is Newton Beach and along to the Ogmore River. And that's our first obstacle, the river. You can't really cross it when the tide's in, and even when the tide's out, it can be tricky. People do get swept out to sea there. So the coastal path actually takes you up to Merthyr Mawr village and across the bridge and down to Ogmore by Sea. It's about 3 miles extra. So, enough moaning, I've only just started. And will it stay dry today? As you walk over to the Ogmore River, you go past this shack, and it's actually marked on Google Maps as the Robinson Crusoe shack. Last week when I was walking west, there were quite a few diversions because of the steelworks and things like that. But this direction, walking east, for most of the time, you are walking along the coast path, right next to the sea. So I've reached the first obstacle, the River Ogmore. Luckily the tide's out, so I should be able to wade across. You can see the birds there. But disclaimer, a lot of people get into trouble doing this, especially if they don't know the area and the tide's coming in, or the river's running fast because there's a lot of water, but the river isn't very high, the tide's out, and I'm going one way. So if you're watching from the Porthcawl lifeboat, I apologise. Don't do this. This is wrong. Otherwise, it's a over 3 mile diversion up river, across, and down the other side again. So far, it's only ankle deep, and the current isn't very strong at all. Well, the distances on the Wales Coast Path table say it's about 8 miles from Porthcawl seafront to here, Ogmore. But because I crossed the river, it's taken about 3.5 miles off that distance. So I'm now at Ogmore by Sea. Unlike walking that way, west, from Porthcawl to Swansea, the route this way, as I've mentioned, sticks to the coast itself. But the route to Swansea is all flat. But this one, there's quite a few up and downs. We walk along the Glamorgan Heritage Coast. Great views, but a bit more strenuous. Well, the temperature's perfect for walking today. Like I said, it's overcast, but it's quite nice. And that rain is still holding off. So when I crossed the river, I moved from Bridgend County into the county of the Vale of Glamorgan. And now I'm on a stretch of coastline known as the Heritage Coast. It's nice and quiet here, apart from the dog. By the way, because I'm walking east, I am walking into the sun. So some of the camera shots may be a bit dark. Well, when I say sun, what little sun there is. And saying that dampness in the air again. Not quite raining. So anyway, so far, I'm enjoying this way a bit more than my walk to Swansea because it's quieter and it's not on the roads. Saying that, the went to Swansea did have a few nice parts. Kenfig Dunes, Baglan, even Baglan Dunes, even down the canal. So, still worth doing. I think one of the reasons I'm enjoying this walk slightly more than the walk to Swansea is because I haven't got a destination. I'm taking it easy. So I've now reached Dunraven Bay. If you're a Doctor Who fan, you may recognise it. It was used as Bad Wolf Bay in the series. Anyway, I was caught in a shower, so hopefully everything's working. My mic was playing up, it got soaked. So, fingers crossed. Anyway, let's continue. And I'm passing through the Dunraven estate. Up there used to be the castle. And we're going to go past the old walled garden. What I'll do, I'll go through it to show you. And this area is meant to be haunted. Ooh. I don't know if you can see behind me. There's a big black cloud coming. Probably bringing rain. And I'm on top of the cliffs. And there's no shelter anywhere. So the rain's blown over. It looks a bit brighter over there, but still not much sun, and I'm a bit damp. So we're coming up to Monknash Beach now. So overlooking Monknash Beach, you'll find this building, which we're going past, known as the Rocket House. And back in the days before the Coast Guard, they used this to store the rockets, the life-saving equipment, to rescue ships going up and down the Bristol Channel. So on this lower area here by the beach, they found bones sticking out, and they believe there was either a burial ground here, or it may have been a burial of bodies after one of the many shipwrecks along this stretch of coast. This is what we didn't have on the walk to Swansea, these hills. So we've got to Nash Point, and luckily the little kiosk over there was open. I could get a cup of tea. So we're going to go past Nash Point Lighthouse. Well, there's actually two. The older one, a short one, and the larger one over there. And also the foghorns. These really big horns that used to sound when the mist was down. Look at the size of those foghorns. Like I said about this route, it does keep to the coast all the way around, so it's really easy to follow. What you notice about this walk, you can see the erosion on the cliffs. Like, look at this wall here. Well, these cliffs are limestone, but the reason they're so unstable, it's made out of something called, I think it's called blue lias, which basically it's a layer of limestone. And between the layers of limestone is like a layer of shale. So it makes it quite unstable. There's limestone, shale, limestone, shale. So that's why it's eroding. I think it was laid down in the Jurassic period. I'm no expert, but I'm sure that's what I looked at before. Because I remember thinking the name Blue Lias, because there's a road in Porthcawl called Lias Road. And I always wondered where the name came from. So anyway, Blue Lias. So I'll come back to you when we get to St Donat's Bay, where you can find St Donat's Castle, which is now part of Atlantic College. It was once owned by William Randolph Hearst, the newspaper magnate, and he owned, we've been to Hearst Castle in California, and he's the character Citizen Kane was based upon. Anyway, I'll see you at St Donat's. So this is the back of Atlantic College, where they've got access to the sea, and up there is the castle. And we're heading east along the cliffs there to Llantwit Major Beach. So I'll see you again. I'm trying to save the battery because, like I said, the GoPro eats batteries. But before I go, look at this. I said this is back from the Jurassic Age. Half past 12. Keep going. Doing okay today? Which is going to give up first? The camera and the batteries, or my knee? So over there, that was St Donat's, where we came from, and you can see the cliffs behind me there, and in front of me is a remnant from World War II, one of the pillboxes which protected the inlets. Any landing point were protected by, this is Tresillian Bay, and overlooking it is the pillbox. Let's take a look at that. As you can probably hear, we're getting close to Cardiff Airport. So that's Tresillian Bay down there. I don't know if you can make it out over there, where there's some people sitting. That's another pillbox on the beach itself. I'm coming down into Llantwit Major Beach. So onwards from Llantwit Major, back up the cliffs, and I think the next bay, or the next major bay for me, is Limpert Bay near Aberthaw power station, which is now decommissioned. And on Limpert Bay, they've got some World War II sea defences, anti-tank blocks. I think I took the wrong turning. The path goes over the cliff. I think I'm meant to be up there. Well, that route took me over the cliff. So hopefully this is the right way. Over there you may be able to see the old Aberthaw power station. So I'm now on Limpert Bay. This was a hard part of the walk because the footpath took us across the bay. And if you look, it's not sandy, it's all rocky. And it's really hard to walk on. But anyway, it is a low part of the coast. And as a result, during World War II, they were worried about invasion coming from Ireland, basically, that side. So this was near Roos Airport, St Athan. So they constructed a row of anti-invasion concrete blocks, and they're still here. So these are the anti-invasion blocks dating from World War II. Now here's the thing, if I want to lift back home, Mel can pick me up, but at the latest 4:30. So it's 2:45 now, and I said I would meet her at the Blue Anchor Inn, East Aberthaw, at 4:30. So I looked at the map, and it said 2 hours away, but that's not taking the coast path, which I think may be quicker. So fingers crossed, you can see some more of the anti-invasion blocks over there. I can relax a bit. I've just checked the map again, and the pub looks like it's only an hour away. It gets confused because the Google Maps doesn't recognise the coastal path and takes you inland. So if it's only an hour away, I may have time for a sneaky drink before Mel arrives. That's the old Aberthaw power station, and this is known as Breaksea Point. There's been a lot of shipwrecks in this area, especially in the days of sail, because it's close to Barry Docks, Cardiff Docks, Bristol. So distances. I think I've walked, checking on my phone, I've walked about 19 miles from Porthcawl. But I took the shortcut. If the tide was in, it would have been an extra 3 miles. So it would have been 22 miles to get to this point. Are they expecting trouble? Not that far away are the old Aberthaw lime works, and I think there's a road there that'll take me up to the pub. That old Aberthaw power station, quite a big site. So now I'm leaving the Wales Coast Path to try and find that pub, the Blue Anchor, on my lift home. But will I have a chance for a drink before Mel arrives? Time check, 22:04. So I've made it to the Blue Anchor Inn in East Aberthaw. 21 miles, 49,000 steps. And it's 10:04. And Mel's picking me up at 4:30. That means I've got time for a drink. Let's go in then. So 49,000 steps, 21 miles for a drink. Cheers.